Alright guys, TacticalRab again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. One of the best days of the CDL season so far, no doubt about it. Scrappy versus Standy, Toronto versus Vegas. We were waiting for this one for quite some time and it definitely delivered. A Game 5 round 11, can you believe it? An incredible result to dive into. A couple of other very interesting series as well to mention. Very much enjoyed to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. Fantastic graphic here from Legion to kick things off. In Vegas, we don't play with jokers, as they say, and we will get to that very shortly. Quickly though, from the COD League, confirmation coming Monday on the 17th, I'm guessing that's Monday, I believe it is, that the World Championship is going to be confirmed. This actually came out shortly after the Vegas series. Kind of interesting timing given the fact that we believe it might well be hosted in Vegas, and it would be nice to see the Legion there as a result. So we imagine they're going to announce the situation there come Monday, and that's in just a few days' time. We know what Scrappy's been saying, of course, for quite some time. Toronto versus Vegas, he wanted to slam them, and if you guys don't know the full story behind this, they were kind of, well, there was a bit of drama, I think, between these two guys, even back into the 2017 days. Then they were teammates, they teamed up in locals over the last couple of years, were on Toronto, and then things kind of went south at Toronto. There was one series they played against Boston. Standy made a bad play. The team, I guess in Standy's opinion, kind of scapegoated him for that play. They got rid of him. Scrappy then said afterwards that they were absolutely in the right to do so, and that he said thank the Lord when they benched Standy and got rid of him. Then Standy was coming out on social media, talking kind of a little bit against the Toronto guys, almost wanting to go elsewhere. The team then released him from the roster, and Vegas snapped up the opportunity, brought Standy in, and even afterwards there was all this Twitter beef that went on again between Standy and Scrappy, and of course, great timing because they played in just a couple of weeks' time. That game was today. It was all teed up over the last couple of weeks, and especially good because this series is very crucial for seeding going into the major. Toronto absolutely needed to win, and they did win map number 1. I will say that I'm still surprised by the comms of Vegas when you go into a listening. I know that like this must be working, and I know that people were criticizing Clayster heavily for the comms he was giving in game 1. They were up like 160 to 110, and the comms didn't sound so good. They sounded like they were losing, right? This is a consistent trend with Vegas. They sound almost frustrated and complaining about stuff mid-map when they're actually winning, and then they got like, what, 20, 30 more points from that point to the end of the game. Toronto came big throughout the game 1, but Vegas, as kind of expected, did win the search and destroy here. It was a close fought affair, but I thought if Vegas were going to win this series, they'd have to go, have to do something 2-5, where they'd have to win both search and destroys. I didn't trust him in the control, but can you believe it? Vegas on the Expo control, it might be their map. We know that they've been terrible at control so far. They were terrible at Fortress when that was in the map pool, but they seem okay here on this map mode combination. Now, they had a great chart. I think they went up 2-0 here, and then they squandered it, but they did win the round 5 to take a 2-1 series lead. They got bodied, though, in the hard point, so they broke their, 9 in a row, 10 in a row, losing streak in control. What a time to do it, and, I mean, look, they're not going to make the World Championship if their control stays as bad as it was. They needed to get better. Toronto are great control teams. This is a very impressive victory for Vegas, and if they can get to being, like, even a 40% win rate in control, like, that should be good enough to get these guys deep in tournaments. With how good their search and destroy presently is, they do go down game 4, though, a phenomenal game here from CleanX. Standy, though, already at this point had a 1.84 in the controller, 2.0 in the search and destroy so far. Standy had one of, honestly, the best series in the history of the CDL. Time and a place to do it. For Standy to have the series he did here, and it wasn't just the first 3 maps, it was map 4 and map 5 as well. Like, this guy went all-star mode for this series, and it was quite something to witness, given what was on the line and the pressure on Standy to prove to Toronto that dropped him, let's not forget here for Hicksy, that they made the wrong decision. So they went to game 4. CleanX, after having a slow couple of maps here, did turn around big time. You can actually see Standy here in the background, which is kind of interesting indeed. But then at game 5, and Vegas had a massive lead game 5 early on. TJ sticks the defuse. They go up 3-1. They quickly go up 4-1. Then it's 5-1 after quite the play here from Standy. He, 2v3 situation. Standy gets 1, finishes off the final one as well, ends up shooting a couple of bodies also. And this is where you think, if you're a Vegas Legion fan, you're thinking, oh no, here we go again, right? The body shots come through. Standy ends up clutching this 1 versus 2. I mean, what a time again to pull this one off. Okay, the quality for some reason on Twitter is terrible, as is expected from this platform. Unfortunately, this is actually straight potato, but you can probably still get the picture across. That Standy gets this kill, gets the defuse as well, and shoots some bodies while he's at it. There we go. You can just about make that out, I suppose. So 5-1 to Vegas, and you're thinking, all right, GG is nicely done. Vegas somehow pulled this one off, but all of a sudden, it's going round 11, and Vegas were throwing away some rounds. rounds. Toronto brought it back. We know they're pretty icy in Search and Destroy, but just to make things even more entertaining for us, Standy ended up finishing it off. Clay was hyped. Ted was absolutely loving it and very relieved, and I think understandably so. And Standy was letting the camera know. I mean, look at this, right? When Standy's up in the camera, he got the moustache on as well, so he's looking good. Drops the L. He didn't even get too hyped. I thought it was cold celebration here from Standy. Not even getting too hyped about it, just showing Scrappy who the man of the hour is. So, phenomenal series, great performance, awesome to see for Vegas as well, and Clay comes out with the Scrappy line from not that long ago. We don't beef with etc, etc. GG's Toronto 132. Fantastic stuff. 8,500 likes on this. I believe it's now up to 11k. There it is. It just refreshed itself. And I mean, look, we look back at these tweets from Scrappy when he was talking about why he got dropped most selfish player, not because I have a good connection with Charlie, that being Hicksy, and a demolition job here by Standy. So awesome series, and this has many massive implications, of course. Now, Scrappy says actually in the replies, or immediately after the series, GG's Vegas, those guys are a championship caliber team. Can't wait to see them play at Major 4. Now, this is obviously a sarcastic comment from Scrappy, right? He's taken the mick out of them, saying that, yeah, they're still terrible, even though they won, and we're the championship caliber team because we won the last event. Which, fair enough, and look, Scrappy, he dishes it out, so he's got to take it, and I'm sure he knows that and understands the way it is. His Twitter replies are looking spicy, to say the very least at the moment. But still, I thought this reply was pretty interesting. Maybe he could have come up with a bit of humility, but no, I mean, look, this is pretty sarcastic, right? He's still taking the mick out of them, and is looking forward to me playing them at the Major, which would be great. This was a Gersh creation, I believe, as well, with, you know, the tattoo that Scrappy was kind of using as a template, and then the tattoo that he actually got. So, I mean, look, as I say, if you dish it out, you're going to have to take it at the end of the day. Standy, though, 114 kills. This is the second highest kill this season in a best of 5. Dashy has the most against FaZe earlier on, but a 1.52 KD, probably the best ever series a player on Legion has ever had, to be honest. And as I say, what a time to deliver it. Standy also keeps things pretty clean in the post-game. One hell of a series, super stressed at the end, and even Scump giving him a lot of credit here. You are him at Standy. So great performance. Now, Clay was saying, look, I didn't play that well. Teammates carried me. But in fairness, even when Clay doesn't have the greatest numbers in terms of KD, he still delivers insane damage. And he did have some clutch moments in the game 5 for sure. And that does mean, for the first time in the history of the Call of Duty League, since they've done these qualifier matches, Cold War, Vanguard, and now here into Modern Warfare 2, Vegas have qualified for the winners bracket. Can you believe it? That's 3 wins on the board. That guarantees a winners bracket start. And they play Florida next. And that could be a 4-in-1 run for Vegas. Like, that is massive. And if they win that, another 10 points on the board, like, things are getting interesting. There is no doubt about it. We've got to talk, though, briefly about Toronto. Because, I mean, look, this meme is going to have a lot of use. I've already seen it flying around, which is great to see. And there's a few other versions of this as well, which are gained some popularity because, I mean, damn it, they are not looking so pretty right now. And look at these numbers. Hicksy, a 0.77. Now, fundamentally, Hicksy was, what, at the Major, he was maybe a 0.85, a 0.9, 0.95 at Major 3 when they won. And that's fine if he's enabling the team. We talked about with Hicksy, he was enabling CleanX to drop a 1.2. He was maybe enabling Insight to drop a 1.1. But this stage, Insight's fallen off a fair bit. CleanX is now a 0.95 rather than a 1.2. And Hicksy's kind of still doing what he was before, but a little bit worse. And, you know, the slaying isn't there. I mean, look, at the end of the day, Standy has basically double the KD of Hicksy. Not quite, but it's not far off. And that does matter at the end of the day. So very interesting. I want to see how they fare on LAN. But of course, look, Vegas in winners, Toronto, they're 1-in-4. That's starting in losers. Guaranteed. They're going to be in the losers bracket for the Major. And this is the Major 3 champions. Remarkable stuff. Also, Clay had a 0.76, but in fairness, he had only 900 damage less than Standy with a 1.52. So that's just how things go sometimes. Also, though, we've got to talk about the OpTic series because the entertainment did not relent here. Now, okay, in fairness, this series was maybe less interesting than some people would be hoping for, but still, it was a Fortress hardpoint game 1. OpTic expected to dominate this. 251-70-ish. LA Guerrillas definitely put up a fight here, and I think LA Guerrillas they're a team that doesn't deserve 12th in the standings for me, or not in the standings, but in the rankings. I think they're slightly better than that. They do have some more potential than at times they show, but they just seem to always find a way to lose lately, especially to a team like OpTic that took the game 1. Game 2 as well. I don't know why this is a black screen. Let me just play this. Don't know what Arcitys is thinking. It goes for 1 jump peak, goes for 2 jump peaks, and then goes again and dies. Like, it was already weak. I don't know why he went for the chow. That was a big round as well. But still, LAG took this to a round 11. They lost it, though, with a crazy crazy moment actually with the OpTic van making a return. So Shotzzy gets the first blood and exceeds running away, and this car just blows up for Huke. That wins them the round 11. And then the control was also pretty remarkable. Now, first of all, Huke in the search and destroy again. He had a 2.33 search KD coming into this map, and he went with a 2.6 search and destroy KD in this map. So his KD got even better. Absolutely outrageous. And they 3-0'd them quite quickly. The control they had to reverse sweep it on aBeZy, and I was thinking, okay, you know, definitely some questions raised about OpTic's control if they lose here to Los Angeles Guerrillas. They didn't though, they brought it back, and again they're looking absolutely deadly, and that leaves them at a 12-2 map count so far, 4-0 in the Major 4 qualifiers. We'll have a look at the numbers here in a second, but if they were to 3-0 Boston, I believe they would either hold the record or tie the record for the most dominant ever qualifier stage, which I believe is FaZe a couple of years ago, Cold War Stage 4, where they went, I believe, 15-2, so OpTic could match that if they destroy Boston tomorrow. But yeah, on another level, these guys right now, no doubt, and especially in the SMG department, right? Look at these numbers. Huke with a 1.3, Shotzzy with a 1.2, Ghosty and Dashy are going marginally negative with barely any kills, decent damage from Dashy, but I mean, this SMG duo is taken over, right? It's the best SMG duo in the game right now by a pretty comfortable margin, I think, and especially in search, man. Huke has been so good. It's been almost unbelievable to witness his turnaround, and it's great to see a player of Huke's caliber really unleash his potential that we've known has been in there for some time, and it's really helping OpTic right now. So after Vegas got the job done against Toronto, they absolutely needed FaZe to do them a favor here and take down the Minnesota Rokkr, to not give them that 10 points, and certainly to try and make them start in the losers bracket. And it started out so well for FaZe. They looked polished game one. In fairness, this was the absolute aBeZy show. The guy went 38-12. We thought Standy had a good series earlier in the day. We thought Huke had a good series earlier in the day. aBeZy said, you know what, the FaZe is the best gun of the game, and I'll show exactly why. He was a walking three-piece this series. I couldn't believe my eyes at times. It was a three-piece again and again and again. He even did it in the search and destroy game 2 actually, but 38-12, outrageous stuff. And look, I said that Shotzzy and Huke are the best SMG duo in the game, which I think is true, but aBeZy is still the best SMG individually, I think, in the game. This guy's unbelievable. Search and destroy went a similar way. Was kind of down to the wire here, but FaZe got the job done. aBeZy got a three-piece round 11 as well. But then control, this was a back and forth affair. I remember Attach saying actually when he was in the Rokkr starting team that they were definitely, like, from his understanding, all the teams are going to veto Expo. We're seeing more and more of it lately, and I think it's good to see. Rokkr got the job done here in 5. It was 5 rounds. It was a close fought affair, but Rokkr went down 2-1, won it 3-2, and then FaZe still can't seem to put together a couple of good hardpoints in a single series. They've been getting better the way things are going lately, but Afro and Cammy especially had a great map here. Bance started off hot as well, and that was enough for Rokkr to consolidate this advantage. Ridiculous into this game as well, by the way. Like, FaZe probably feel like they could have won it with Simp almost getting a kill at the ends. Rokkr kind of collapsed, but they got the job done, went to game 5. And game 5, another heartbreaker for the guys on Atlanta FaZe. There's been a couple of round 11s over the last couple of months or so. Major 2, right, where it was Rokkr versus FaZe. Went game 5, round 11. They lost that. FaZe went to the grand finals of that tournament and went on to win it. Rokkr went out top 3. And then even today, another 10 points up for grabs here for the Rokkr guys. They fall short. Game 5, round 11. Honestly, the way Slasher died that round 11, I mean, this guy was getting imploded that series, but Cellium and I believe it was Simp got the job done in the end. So for all the good work Rokkr did to bring back the reverse sweep to a 5-4 advantage after, what, 9 rounds of that final search and destroy, they kind of fell short when it mattered again to FaZe, and FaZe win the round 11. So big for FaZe to try and get some confidence up and secure their winners bracket spot. Rokkr, though, 2-2 to play Thieves later in the weekends. If they go 2-3, that's probably a losers bracket start, but it's still not guaranteed, and that could be big for the big story of the day, which is the Las Vegas Legion. So hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.